Hey everybody, I'm sharing a quick art journal spread today using distress inks with stencils for the background, and I'm starting with the darkest color today, which is the uncharted Wenn Ihr. I don't know how it is pronounced, and I'm using the crossed stencil, and I just inked up the stencil, spritzed it with water, and then I pressed it to my paper. I'm working in a watercolor journal today. It's usually a landscape journal, but I really like working upside down. In this, not upside down, at a 90-degree angle. Yeah, and I really like the paper. It's from Hanemühle. It's not my favorite paper for sketching. That's why I use it as an art journal, because it is a little bit textured, but it's not too textured to use it for stamps. So I really think it's a nice book to work with, and especially with distress inks or watercolors, it's just nice to play. I also use a brush and a little bit of water, pick up the color from the stencil and just move it around, especially on the edges and in those areas where I am not happy with the texture I got. It's a little bit of a play, this technique. You have to experiment how much water you take and how much ink. It's just something you get used to when you do it more often, I would say. As always, there is a link in the video description to the supplies I've been using and to the blog post where you can have a look at the finished spread. There will be some close-up images and photos. And something else I want to mention, we have a Halloween sale going on during the whole week until Friday, where you get 13% off your order. And there is a code in the description, so have a look. We do this instead of a Black Friday sale because German Post increases the shipping cost during Black Friday until I think about the 6th or 7th of December. And I think it's just weird that during a time where you want to get some bargains or save some money, you then have to pay more for shipping. So we decided to just do a Halloween sale instead of our Black Friday sale, and I don't have to pay for the extra shipping cost that they put on the packages during that Black Friday time. So I dried everything with my heat tool because I want to layer the inks, and that gives a much better effect when you want to layer inks. We don't want to mix them. And here I've used a part of our mini ink dot stencil together with Distress Oxides. The mini ink dot stencil will arrive soon. It's on pre-order, or it's pre-ordered, and it should be, I expected it to be here the last week, but there was a holiday in Germany in some areas on Saturday, so DHL wasn't working, and so I think we might get it today or tomorrow, so you don't have to wait until the 15th of November. That's the date I think we have in the shop for this stencil that it will be arrive. I used fossilized amber in the oxide version with this because the oxides are more opaque and layer on top. I prefer these when I do the top layers of the journal spread. And I also really love that both type of inks are so different in not in texture, I would say in color. The distress inks are much brighter and more intense, and the distress oxides are more milky and muted and more on the pastel side of things. And now I'm doing a little bit of an experiment, which is not the best decision, but it's no problem at all. It's all the time when you play with your materials and art supplies, you have to experiment, otherwise you will not discover your own ways of working. And I thought I would try to stamp that stencil image from our sketchy leaf stencils with black. It was really hard to pick that tiny thing up from the paper, and I used black soot in the oxide version, and I just made the print on the page. Doesn't turn out the way I wanted it to be, so I think next time I will not use this on a textured background, but maybe this could be nice if you just have a light background and then use this as one image on this background. Maybe something I will definitely experiment with. I didn't have enough ink, so I have some areas where you don't see it, so I just go in with my brush and redraw that. You could see the borders of it almost everywhere, so that was really easy to just paint that in. And as it's a oxide ink, it will dry quite gray, so it will not stay that intense, that you can see it here. Also, if I would have used the normal distress ink in black soot, there wouldn't be a change because I already have that oxide ink in yellow on the paper. And when you layer a distress ink over an oxide, the oxide effect will come on top once it gets wet. So there is no chance that you can layer a black soot distress ink over a yellow distress oxide. So that will not change your look. So I go with this. I will just use it for my page and see what I can do. I always try to then cover these areas where I'm not so happy with, so I will put my focal point towards this area. I really like the left side with the texture of the crossed stencil and the color blending I have. I will now add a little bit of stamping to bring in more interest to the background. I'm using a simple text stamp, and I think I will also use one of these number stamps. I don't add much, just a little hint here and there. I think that's enough because the background is already quite busy. I decided to make some black splatters, and I just dipped the ink to the glass plate and then I grab it with my brush and I can make some color splatters. I really love splatters. That always brightens up every page. I feel it makes it more vibrant and lively. Usually I wanted to use the washi tape we made in our members video recently. But then I immediately saw that it just does not fit because it's too busy. You don't want something busy like that on a busy background. I then made another video. It's a bonus video if you are a member, so check that out, where I use this piece of washi tape on an art journal page because I really wanted to use this, as I really liked the color combo on it and the texture. But for today I decided to go with something different because I think we need a little bit of a calm arrangement to balance out the busy background. And I found some pieces in my stash, and I have that bluish gray green piece here of a leftover paint paper which matches the colors exactly I got with that stenciled leaf. And I picked a big strip of black paper just to balance the busyness a bit. And I also am using a little bit of this collage paper. I think I made that years ago. It's just with an old book page and some watercolor play. And I will add this under the other papers. as a hint of color. I really like when you stack up papers, that gives a lot dimension, and it also gives a cluster on your page where you can then arrange your focal point and a title. I'm adhering the papers with my glue stick. I was thinking about my focal point. I go through these images that I made with my stencils and jelly prints. I love them. I think they are so, yeah, they are not so busy compared to a stamped image. And I really love their boldness because of the colors. And here I just had a look which image I want to use, and then I paused the video just to find the perfect image. And here I decided maybe I could use that collage leaf image from our new stamp set, but I then picked this one. It's also a collage for the piece that I made with a jelly print and our Sketchy Leaves 5 stencil. Here I just go through the stash of images I have to see which color will fit the best. And in the end, I'm going with that yellow leaf because I like that the most. I think that's just the best version. That's a part I really like, when I have everything ready to go, just to find the perfect image that will fit on this page. And I will use the glue stick again to adhere it, and I will also add a sentiment. You will see which sentiment I've added later in the photo. I will just add this towards the end. Yes, I hope you enjoyed today's video and you are a little bit inspired, and we will see us next time. Bye.